Well, welcome this evening, my friends. So, as you guys know, I interviewed Hollywood a couple days ago. New guy to the scene in a different genre than ours. Uh, YouTube channel, Hard Intentions, had some choice words and some opinions. So we interviewed Hollywood. Now we're going to interview. A lot of folks were like, "Who is this guy?" So we're going to find out who he is and how he is in tune with the biker scene and that sort of thing, and get his background. Hopefully, an interesting time. So hang out with us. Be back right after this, and we'll learn a little bit about our guest tonight. His name is Mitch from Hard Intentions, and stand by for the show after this. Oh man, I love using my swoosh, man. The swoosh is the coolest thing in the world. All right, so we're gonna go here to our guest. Forgive me, I'm trying to get my throat so I'm not coughing all night. Hey, what's up, Mitch, man? It's Mitch Smiley from Hard Intentions. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Listen, first of all, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. Short notice.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you don't know who I'm some guy calling out of nowhere and all that sort of thing. So
yeah, I've seen your show here and there, so I had an idea, and then I saw the show. You know, guys forwarded me the link to the show you did with Hollywood talking about a little rebuttal. So
yeah, man. Well, it's no secret how you felt. So hey, stop that. Yeah, this dog. There's no secret how you felt, man. First of all, tell us who you are and your channel and your genre and where that comes from. Let's just get a.
Yeah, my name's Mitch, and my channel is Hard Intentions, and you know, I did 38 years in prison in California, and after I was out for a while, I did an interview on a prison genre channel, Lockdown 23-in-1. And everyone said, hey, you know, you should start your own channel. And so I did. I grew up in San Diego. I grew up around motorcycles. And the town I lived in had a lot of guys that were, from Lakeside. And there were several members of the motorcycle club there in San Diego, in the town I grew up in. And they had a big influence on my life growing up. And, I grew up, I was kind of like one of the youngest guys in a little crew of about, 10 or 15 guys. It went from when I got arrested, I was 17, and then the oldest guy would have been about 25 when I had motorcycles. And, back then guys were building bikes, and a lot of my friends they would get Triumphs and BSAs and chop them up and, make choppers out of them. And then a couple guys had Panheads and Sportsters. And then before I got arrested, I had a shovel head, I had FXE. And, I got some trouble, got me a 15 to life sentence in California prison. And
yeah, we're going to talk about about that a little bit tonight. So Yeah, I remember those motorcycles. I never had any of those. I was still on crotch rockets back then,
Yeah.
and and Riceburg. I can remember my guys with those shovel heads and pan heads, like kickstarting those things for like an hour to get them started.
Yeah. Yeah. Some guys had it down, they could fire them right up, and other guys, they had to work on it.
I remember when the electric starters came out. I was like,
Yeah.
for a while they had both.
I had a 1974 FXE, and that's the first year they had electric start and kickstart on the same bike. So
Yeah, I remember that. They had them both for a while. So
yeah.
the hardcore dudes would still go out and kickstart until, like, if it just was too much, they'd hit the starter.
Yeah, not me. I use the button almost all the time.
Okay. So, yeah, so you hit Hollywood kind of hard. What was the impetus for that? What brought that about? What made you feel like you needed to speak out about it in such a way?
I've seen them here and there, and it just seems like every episode is some negative thing about some motorcycle club, like shooting somebody, stabbing somebody, selling drugs, just crime, and then at the end he'll report the story, and then he'll say a little, they're motorcycle clubs, not gangs. He'll throw some of that in there, but it's always just the negative, and it's the same story that mainstream media puts out. He just regurgitating it on his channel so he can have a channel. I don't know what the deal is, but and I have some friends. California prison, system had a lot of motorcycle riders in it, motorcycle club members at one time. Not so much now. Most of them go to the feds now, but some of them were like, "Hey, man, I'm tired of this guy's shit," and so, and I was kind of tired of hearing it, and so I did a little episode about it. It just I just see a lot more to motorcycle culture, motorcycle clubs than just the negative. The law enforcement and the media put it out there like, one guy does something bad and they just blanket the whole motorcycle club nationwide, like, look, this guy got caught with a gun, and, they got caught with, some drugs, or there was a shooting and they think this is the reason why, and it's the same thing coming out of his channel. And if there's a lot more to it than just the negative shit that the media puts out there, and I think the media parrots law enforcement's agenda. And last night we were watching a program which is kind of fits the narrative of what I'm saying. There's a group of firefighters in Canada, and in the Bronx. They branched out to the Bronx, and the first part of they're called the Florian Knights or Florian Knights, and they're firefighters, and they were talking about how they got PTSD from all the stuff they go through. They see shooting victims, fire victims, babies. They see every kind of bad thing you can see as a firefighter. They're kind of so a lot of them had PTSD, and they formed a motorcycle club, and they had like a three-piece patch and all that. Started taking off, doing real good, and that's their therapy. They associate with each other, they ride motorcycles together. And then one of them took a photograph up in Canada with a couple guys from a motorcycle club, because he grew up with a guy, and it got in the newspaper, and law enforcement made an issue about it. And then the city said, hey, they terminated the guy as a firefighter. The guy has never been arrested, never had a traffic ticket, nothing. He just grew up with this guy who happened to be in a motorcycle club they call outlaw, one percenter. Took a photograph, no big deal, and they made an issue out of it and fired the guy. And then they basically shut down the motorcycle club. I haven't finished the documentary. I'm hoping it gets to where they sue the city or something, but that's the narrative he pushes all the time. It's just that's mainstream media's agenda to me. It just shut down motorcycle clubs. And to me, motorcycle clubs and motorcycle riders that are, whether you're in a club or not, are pretty much the last bastion of freedom in this country. We stand up for, what we believe it is to be an American, and have no problem with that. And it's not about crime, and it's not about two-wheeled mafia and all other crap, you know. So I just get tired of seeing it all the time, and that's my agenda on making that video, basically.
So, have you ever been in a club?
No.
So, you know, one of the things that
I went to prison when I was 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, back then I think the prospect, you had to be 21. I don't know what it is now. And then, you know, I got out of prison. I was 2017, so I was 56, around there. So I figure I'm a little too old to start to go out and prospect and all that. But I do have friends in motorcycle clubs that I associate with. Up and down the state of California, and I met some guys out here in Arizona. So, you know, but
Yeah.
I'm a little too old to be out prospecting, you know.
Well, no, you're never too old to prospect, they say. I don't know if I'm 59. I don't know if I could I don't know if I could go back. You know, I tell you, a little bit of it, you know, Mitch, it kind of, you know, I felt in some of that you could have probably taken Hollywood's name out and put my name in. You know what I mean? I do some of the same thing. Maybe I don't cover the news maybe the same exact way, but
Yeah.
I can tell you there's a thing that says if it leads, if it bleeds, it leads. And,
Yeah.
you know, you had made a point where you said, you know, cover more, you know, shit, you know, positive stuff.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from my own experience, man, I could put about 1,000 positive stories up and I'd have about 1,000 views. Well,
Sure.
You
Sure.
put one bleeding story up and you got 100,000 views. So, you know, what do you think about
thing on my channel? I experienced the same thing on my channel. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you say you kind of heard about some of your guys, you know, talking about it, and that kind of, nobody asked you to do that. You just kind of got frustrated and said, let me put that out there.
Yeah, I just said, fuck, I had heard enough. I got to say something about it, you know. But
so you weren't speaking for any clubs or anything like that. That's what a lot of my people are asking.
No. But I mean, you know, like, you know, doing a thing, you know, like, is this guy an informant? You know, some guy gets put out of his club, and you know, that's their business. It's not, to me. It's just episode after episode after episode. The same thing. Is this guy an informant? Is he not an informant? You know, I know through my time in prison, my time, you know, being exposed to different things, that if a guy's an informant, it's never going to come out in court. They got guys that are informants. They don't get paid. You know, they're just informants for different reasons. It just, you know, but the bottom line is that's their business. It's not for public consumption. I don't think that. I just thought that was kind of way out, and that's what some guys are like, dude, this is bullshit. You know, he's just making a joke out of shit, and you know, yeah.
Right. Well, I got this, you know, that story about the Florian Nights. We actually did that story here, and this is a update from one of my viewers, and I didn't know this. The fireman won his legal battle, was reinstated, and ended up fine, and began a large legal battle for others too. So,
you're on the show for me. No, that's cool.
That's really cool. I remember this, and I remember we covered that, and we were just like, my God, that was so lousy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to know if it's, you know, if this is correct. And most of my viewers know everything. If you screw up, if I screw up, my viewers will know, like right here, they know everything. Between me and my viewers, we know everything. So, but that's cool to know.
During that show, the cop that was narrating, you know, he was a firefighter who became a cop, and he saw the photograph and he made an issue out of it. And he just kept going on about, you know, this motorcycle club is involved with daily violence. And I told my lady, yeah, like they're out killing people every day. This guy was just stuck on, you know, they're violent, they're criminals, you know, just like he's got some little man complex with a small dick, and he just got to take it out on dudes that are real men. And that's the fucking narrative, man. It's old, you know, and it's I know it attracts attention and all that stuff, but
yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of old.
You know, we have another one. There was a guy who was a what do you call him? He was a jail keeper. I forget the right name for those guys.
Prison guard.
Prison guards. Yeah. And he was a part of a club, 1%er club, Thug Riders, and they threw him. He was one of the founders actually, and they tried to put him in prison for falsifying records and saying that he wasn't in a 1% club, which when the time he started it wasn't. But anyway, he finally got justice not long ago, just a few weeks ago, after a 3 or 4 year battle with this thing. So it's good to see some of this stuff turn around as we cover this. So one of the things that folks have said, some of my folks have said that have listened to this, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. You come from what we call the prison genre. So tell me about your show. What does it do? Is the prison genre, is that a good that's what we would say. Is that what you would say? Or, you know, do we have it wrong? Or
you know, I talk about other things like you know, I talk about other stuff, but I mean, basically I did 38 years in prison, and I told my whole story, from beginning to end, you know, growing up, how I was raised, how I started getting in trouble, my whole prison experience, youth authority. You know, and then, you know, I interview guys I was in prison with, and, you know, and I also make comments about people like there's a dude, he's an informant. He dropped out of a prison gang and became an informant and actually testified against some people in a motorcycle club. And I happen to know he's a liar. You know, he fabricated a story based on evidence that he got from law enforcement, you know. So I did a video about that. And I mean, you know, I go live Wednesday nights and sometimes Saturdays, and you know, we have an audience. But you know, like I was raised in a pretty shitty home. I had a mom, and you know, I never knew my real dad. And the guy I thought was my real dad, turns out it wasn't. And I did an ancestry DNA recently and found out I got a couple brothers I never even knew I had. And the guy I thought was my dad's not my dad, but I was raised by my stepdad, and he was a Korean War vet, roofer, alcoholic, abusive, you know, no love in the home, you know. You can find that in just about any community. But, you know, me and my partners used to cruise around town in Lakeside. You know, and Lakeside's kind of a rough town. You know, as an Indian.
California?
Yeah, San Diego.
Yeah, that's out there by Santee, isn't it?
Yeah. Not confused with Santee, though. Santee had a little money back then.
Oh shit! Really?
Steal their bikes and strip them down, and you know.
If Santee had money, oh my gosh!
It was, you know. But anyways, you know, the guys in the neighborhood that were in motorcycle clubs, like my partner's sister was dating one guy. You know, he was in a club, and he, you know, went to prison, got out. He was a professional boxer before he died, and. You know, them guys were like mentors to us. Them guys would be like, hey, what's up, little brother? Hey, you know. So we got respect from them. And I got respect from guys like that, that were in clubs or weren't, and maybe not, but same type of, you know, lifestyle. And the things you got from them, you weren't getting at home. So they're a very positive influence on me. You know, and that's why I kind of take offense to guys just fucking throwing the dirt out there all the time too, because you know, and then in prison, you know, I ran into some guys that were in bike clubs, and they basically taught me how to live in prison when I was young. California prison is pretty violent, especially back in the 80s. I was talking to my friend the other day. He was in Tracy DVI, and prior to me coming to prison, and he's like, dude, my first year there, he said, you know, they had 9 murders, you know. So, I mean, just stabbing after stabbing after stabbing, and murders, and just fucking madness. And in prison, yeah. So them guys taught me how to live in there and do my own thing. And wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be out right now, actually. So,
let me ask you. I mean, coming from Lakeside was a pretty tough place. I mean,
Yeah.
uh, wasn't a lot of black dudes out there. When we went to Lakeside, we went in a pack, bro. We
Yeah.
and Lakeside and Santee were not good places for us.
Yeah.
We rode through there, 2x2. And the only time we went out there was to deal. They had some of the old school 1% clubs out there. That's
Yeah.
the only time we went out there, and then to do whatever we did with them, and then it was
Yeah.
like straight in and straight the hell out, man. I remember.
Yeah. They had Lakeside Rodeo, and then there's an Indian reservation right outside of town. I went to school with some of them guys, and so it's basically Native American Indians, bikers, and cowboys. Had the Lakeside Rodeo out there, and
Yeah.
long-haired dudes that want to grow up be bikers. We're kids. We used to fight with the cowboys and kick it with the Indians. So I mean, it was a rough town. You learn how to fight, and you learn fighting is norm. Violence is norm. And then you get a little older, you start partying, and like that influence right there. Like when I started partying, drinking, smoking dope, and all that kind of shit when I was a kid. Guys told me, "Hey man, if we ever catch you shooting dope, we'll break your fucking arm." Like shooting dope's against the rules, and that's something I've carried through my whole life.
Right.
Later on, it's like, hey, dope is for having fun and making money. And if you ain't having fun, you ain't making money, then you're just a fucking dope fiend like everyone else if you keep using it, So,
Go on.
it's kind of a positive on a negative, but I mean, if you're gonna be involved in that kind of shit, you get the influence you need to not turn yourself into a fucking turd,
So I gotta ask you, what you went to prison, actual prison, grown people's prison, right? At 17?
Yeah.
And so you went for murder, and if somebody wants to find out that whole story, they need to go to your channel and view it.
Well, I like I said, I grew up. I've been to youth authority a couple times, and then I was in a bar with a couple guys. They were both 24 years old. I was 17, and a guy in a motorcycle club, local club in San Diego, came in, sat down next to my co-defendant, started talking shit. Hit my friend in the face with a beer pitcher. I got involved, and while I was stomping him out, somebody else stabbed him. The guy died. So it was either, I mean, they offered us all a deal, but it was like manslaughter, second degree, package deal or no deal, unless you want a rat. So it was either rat or go to prison, So, I went to prison.
38 years.
Yeah. I got a 15 life sentence. And so we got convicted of my charges, aiding and abetting by vicarious liability, second degree murder. And the aiding and abetting carries the same amount of time as the crime. Is the same as if you got convicted of that crime. And prior, like 6 months prior to me getting arrested, they changed the law. It went from 5 to life to 15 to life. So guys are doing 4, 5, 6 years on second degree murder. And so I was eligible for parole after 10 years, but it was right at the beginning of tough on crime in California. If you remember, came out. They built 34 prisons.
Pete Wilson.
Duke Asian, and then Pete Wilson. Yeah. So we went from 12 prisons to 34 prisons. We went from like 25,000 guys in prison when I went to prison to like almost 180,000. We had the third biggest prison population in the world in California. So, it was, and Gray Davis was the governor, and he wrote an article in the LA Times, said if you're in prison for murder, you're going to parole on a pine box. So, I had to go in front of the parole board because I had 15 to life. I had a term to life, and legally 15 years was my term and life was the exception, but they flipped it, and all the board members are appointed by the governor. So they're making, 100,000 plus a year just to sit there and say denied, and I've seen guys going with perfect records, never been in trouble, and get denied for some bullshit reason, And, so I did 38 years on that. Yeah.
What was that? What's it like the first night you go in there? You're just a kid. Are you tough? You didn't give a damn, or were you scared? What was your?
To be honest, it's kind of you're not a punk. You're gonna defend yourself. You're gonna take care of yourself. You're not gonna do without. You're gonna figure out how to live. I did almost a year in a county jail. I went to prison. I got a stabbing not too long after I was in there. I did some time in the hole. And when I got out of the hole, it was in the hole, guys were stabbed. I remember guys in the hole, they had long hair, and white dudes had long hair and all that shit back then. They'd braid knives into their ponytail and go out the yard. They metal detect you on the way out to the yard, and they pull a knife out of their ponytail, go stab somebody. It's fucking crazy. But it just becomes a norm. If you see somebody get stabbed right in front of you, just keep stepping, just look the other way and keep moving. It's just a normal thing. You just become very aware of your surroundings. You learn how to judge people really fast and accurately, because if I'm associating with somebody who's in debt for drugs or who's talking shit to somebody who's not going to put up with it, and I'm associating with them, they come to get him, they might come get you too. So you have to pick your friends wisely. You have to judge people on a drop of a dime, and just be aware of your surroundings. But to say that it's not frightening or that your asshole isn't puckered every time you step out of your cell all day long till you go in your cell at night, that'd be a lie, because you're dealing with guys that are drug addicts. Some of them are mentally unstable. Some of them they get a thrill out of stabbing people. They get a thrill out of power. You're dealing, it's 3,000 to 5,000 guys in a closed environment. So, you're dealing with every type of personality there is. And there's another thing. It's like for white dudes in prison, bikers were not like on the most favored list, because you got prison gangs and you got guys, everything in between. And like bikers thing is like freedom, motorcycles, brotherhood, and so we don't really fit into I want to shoot dope and hang out on the yard and stab people,
Right.
But but you do what you got to do and you got to do it. But in the meantime, it's about, what are you going to do? The food's shitty, the program's shitty, a lot of dead time. So I got into hobbying. I took some vocational training. They used to have hobby shops back then. So I got into woodworking in the hobby, artwork, shit like that. Figure out where to get food. And
were you an artist before you went in, or is that something you developed after you got in?
I started drawing and tattooing when I was young. My art thing went from tattooing to drawing to painting, just progression.
So you don't tattoo anymore?
A little bit, yeah, I do.
So
everything,
Now did you associate mostly with bikers when you were in there? And a lot of the guys say you weren't a biker. You weren't in a bike club. So why are you speaking on bike club business?
Yeah.
But you are a biker.
Yeah.
And you hang out with a lot of club guys, and you always did.
Associate with guys that are in motorcycle clubs. I have friends that are in bike clubs, and they're my friends. I did a video one time about my show, said, if your friends don't know who your friends are, then they're not your friends. And my friends know who my friends are. I know guys in different bike clubs, but I'm not in a club. But like if I would go to another prison, drive up on the yard, I see guys from San Diego. The first thing I say is, are there any bikers here? Is there anybody in a club here? And then are any bikers here? Then anybody from San Diego here? Because I'm from San Diego. And so, guys in bike clubs, guys that are bikers, kind of look out for each other in there. So or if somebody drove up to my yard, they're in a bike club or they're a biker, it's like, you don't get your property for a few days or a week or so. It's like, what do you need? Break them off their cosmetics and food, coffee, whatever. And then, hang out. Then I would find out what's going on in the world through them, whether they're from my town or from some other town, or they're from clubs that I knew on the street or not. They're just, you find out what's going on in the motorcycle community through them because they've been on the streets while I haven't. And I had one of them. He's an old guy. He's an OG. He got in a bike club back in '67 in San Bernardino, and he sends me messages. He's like, "Hey man, you, me, and homeboy, you guys, we're living proof. That you can do time in prison and get out and be successful." He's an older man now. He's almost 80. So
how long have you been out? Just since 2017?
Yeah, I've been out over 5 years, going on 6 years, 5.5 years. I'm off parole.
So you're not on any paper anymore?
No. I got off parole. I had a 5-year parole and I got off in 3 years. So, yeah, I've been all over the state. I was in New Folsom. I was in San Quentin, Tracy, whatever, Donovan.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures.
I was in Corcoran, So.
Yeah, I saw some of the pictures you sent me. I saw one that said New Folsom, and I was like,
yeah.
Did they move you around? Is that what happened?
Yeah, they have a point system. So when I went to prison, I was young. I was stupid. We used to fuck with the cops a lot. One time I got pissed. I was in the hole. I threw a tumbler of bleach in this cop's face. Almost blinded him. I got a lot of write-ups when I was young. And so 50 points and above, that's a level 4 prison. Mm-hmm. I got out of the hole for this program, and the guy, I went to CMF for this program, and this program administrator, he's like a little Mexican guy, and he got a big cigar, and he goes, "You got 164 points." And I go, "So, I didn't know nothing about points, nothing. They didn't have it when I went in. It was new." And I'm like, "So, is that good?" He said, "What are you, fucking smart ass?" And he got his cigar, and he goes, "You're going back to fucking San Quentin." And I go, "Fuck it," But so level 4 is 50 points and above, and level 3, level 2. So then you could get an override and go to lower level security prison for a program or whatever. If you're, yeah. Yeah.
Listen, somebody asked, did you ever experience or witness a club brother turn on a club brother because he was part of a different prison affiliation?
No, I didn't. I never saw prison, guys in bike clubs, especially, or actually any biker, righteous biker person, turn on their brothers for a prison gang. I never seen that.
So you said that the bikers kind of stuck together or had their own kind of ward or something?
No, I mean, you live amongst the general population and everybody else, but it's like when you hit the yard, or, you might try to sell up on the same tier, hang out, some guy might make some wine, you drink wine, smoke a little weed together, kick it, talk about bikes, talk about the streets, you might have a driving team. Back when they had weights, you might have 3 or 4 guys driving iron together, and they might be from 2 or 3 different clubs, what's going on in the streets, we're in prison, so it's about survival,
Yeah.
I remember I was a fuck up. I was in the hole, and this friend of mine came down the hole to do something, and they let him go down. He yelled down the tier. He goes, "Hey," smiling. I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "What the fuck?" He goes, he got kind of pissed off at me because I got put in the hole and I was fucking up when I was in the hole. He's like, he helped me get out of the hole and all this shit. And then he goes, "Hey man, I was still young, like 22. He goes, "What the fuck you want to do, man? You want to fucking party and make money and kick back, or you want to be in and out of the hole the rest of your fucking time?" And I go, "Well, I want to party and make money and kick back." So they taught me how to do that,
Wow. It's just amazing that, you can, I guess every society you have to figure out how to make it, but party and make money and kick back, I don't know. That's just not a picture I get in prison. You know what I mean? All the movies you see, it's just like hell. So
it is, but you're living in hell. So I got married in 1988. We had family visits, and that was
let's talk about that for a minute.
Hell, but like one time we were on the yard. It was summer, and I had the hose out there where they water the grass, and I flooded the yard, and I would run and slide in it, like slip and slide, and there was like 10 or 12 dudes there, bike club guys that grew up, you know, and just hang around smoking weed and laughing, you know, and having a good fucking time. But, you know, the next day or a couple hours later, something might happen, you got to serious up, you know, so. It's, yeah.
So let's talk about that for a minute. You got married while in prison.
Yeah.
Because at some point they had conjugal visits. How did that come about?
Family visits.
Family visits. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the guys that hate us call them conjugal visits because they make it sound like we're just going out there to fuck, you know? Yeah.
But that's not quite what it was. It was family visits.
Yeah, because you can go out there with your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your kids, whatever. Yeah.
And then at some point they got rid of that.
Yeah. So in 1987, a friend of mine got married. I was his best man, and I told him, "Hey, bro, find me a girl," you know. So about a month later, he came by and gave me an address. Like, "What's this?" He goes, "It's a girl, Ryder," you know. So we rode each other for a while, and then I got her approved to visit, and said, "Yeah, I'll come see you in a few months, maybe," you know. And then Mother's Day was coming up, so I had a friend of mine drop and send her some flowers for Mother's Day. And she came home from work and she had a dozen roses that, you know, and she came up to see me that weekend. And yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, so we got married, and we got married in July 1988, and you know, we had family visits for a long time, and then but it does a lot for you. It's like a vacation from hell, you know. I remember like being in the middle of conflict with some dude, and my cellie at the time was the guy I was living with when I got arrested. And I said, "Hey, bro, when I come off my family visit, we're gonna go stab that motherfucker." And he's like, "All right." And then you go from that to a family visit with your wife and the kid, you know, and you know, they bring in food. You're out there. It's like a little apartment, you know, or a trailer or whatever. And it's
wow,
normal life for 2 days and then back to the shit, you know. Yeah.
So at some point, you didn't think you were going to get out of there.
Yeah, yeah. They took our family visits away in '96. They took our weights away in '97. They started taking shit from us. They took our personal clothing. You know, like you see some of my photographs. I have a Pendleton on, Levi's. You know, they took all that from us. Then they took the state clothes away from us that were decent. They gave us like fucking pajama shit to wear. It just kept taking and taking and taking, and then. You know, basically it's like, hey, you know, I go to board and it's like, I haven't had a ride up in 5 or 10 years. And I got vocational training. I've been through different programs, you know, substance abuse or anger management, whatever the fuck they got going on, you know. It's like, well, you know, you didn't take that underwater basket weaving class, you know, come back in 2 years. I'm like, yeah, okay. You know, it's just bullshit reasons. So I just decided, you know, fuck, I'm never getting out, you know. So, yeah, I divorced my old lady, and I just say, you know, go live your fucking life. And, you know, I wasn't real bitter about it. I was just like, fuck, it's just the reality of things, you know? So I decided you can do your time one of a few different ways. So for me, it was like, I can go out the yard and get involved with politics, sell dope. I did sell dope for a long time and snorted crank, smoke weed, all shit. But and I get involved with shit, get involved with violence, be in the SHU, you know, security housing unit, high level security. Or I could work my way down lower level custody. Since I'm never gonna get out, I'm an artist. I love music. I can get a decent radio, get art supplies, do my art, listen to music, and fucking have a good meal once in a while, you know. And I said that's what I was going to do. So, you know.
You told your wife to go on.
Yeah.
Go live her life.
You gotta hang on to their old ladies, dude. I've seen guys out in the vision room pounding their fist on a table, you know, motherfucker, you know, trying to hang on. I'm like, I'm cool, you know. I was going to wreck somebody's day just because my day was wrecked, you know. But, yeah. I got in the arts and corrections program. I used to teach guys how to paint. Like in Lancaster prison, we had an art cell once a year, and we. I remember I got a job in the arts and corrections program, and then my boss was like, you know, I was like, "What's our budget for supplies?" And she's like, $1,800. Like, all right. And then we had an art show where they sell our art and then they give the money to the Children's Center of Antelope Valley where they help abused children, their mothers. I was cool with that because those are the kind of kids that grow up and come to prison, you know? And so we had a sale. We made like $5,000. And then she came in. She's like, man, we made $5,000. And I'm like, yeah, all right. You know, whatever. She said, we never even made $2,000 ever. And I go, okay. She goes, our budget's coming up. I go, how much is it? She goes, $8,000. Spend it all, you know? So I developed some trust with her, you know? And she let me run the program. And I worked in there for like 5 years, just practicing my art skills and teaching other guys how to paint and raising money for charity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool. You know, it was a good way to kill 5 years, you know? Yeah.
So at some point, they said that they lightened up. At some point, it looked like you were going to get parole. What was that like when you found out you were going to get the hell out of there?
Well, you know, I worked my way down to level 2 prison, and I was in San Quentin, which used to be a level 4, now it's a level 2. And you got all these guys that used to have they had life sentences. Now they're all in this level 2. And I still had the mentality like, you know, fuck, I'm never getting out. This is the end of the road. You know, they got a hobby shop, all this shit. But all these guys had changed, man. They're like whiny fucks, you know, telling on each other. And so there was a lawsuit filed on medical and California prison system and mental health. But one person every week used to die in the California prison system due to lack of medical care. So guys who were diabetic, they wouldn't get their medication, they die. That's pretty basic medical needs, you know. And so they had a federal three-judge panel said, look, you got to lower the prison population in California. You can't take care of them. You got too many guys in prison. You need to lower the population. So they started letting out all the dope fiends, low-level, you know, 2, 3, 4-year term guys. They would come right back, you know. And then the judges said, look, you got these guys got 15 alive, 25 alive, 7 up. They don't have life without. They've been in there 25, 35, 40 years. You got to let them out. So right around that time, I figured out, you know, by the way, back in like 97, I was in Corcoran. I'm slinging crank, snorting crank, partying, all that shit. And my partner I was doing shit with got busted, and I just decided, you know, fuck this, man. I'm over it. And I flushed a quarter ounce of crank down the toilet. I said, I'm done, you know.
Right.
So I quit fucking that shit back in 97. So I've been clean all that time. But I figured out how to smuggle tobacco into San Quentin, and I was selling cans of tobacco. I was making like $800 off a can of tobacco. So I did that for about a year.
Off of a can of tobacco? Off of one can?
Yeah. So I did that for almost a year. I made, you know, a nice chunk of money. But I'm getting these hobby orders sent in. You know, I'm thinking, hey, I'm going to be here the rest of my life. So I want to load up. The tobacco ain't going to last forever. So I'm going to load up on art supplies. So I'm in the hobby shop, and these orders start coming in. You know, I'm getting, you know, massive amounts of enough to last me 10 years, you know. I'm getting paint brushes that cost $200, and all these fucking guys in the hobby, they're like looking at me like, yeah, okay, motherfucker, you know, like they ain't got no hustle, so that's not my fault, right? So I got busted. I had a cell phone. I got busted for smuggling tobacco, and I lost 1,500 books of stamps. I sell tobacco for stamps, you know, and I get like $8 a book for the stamps. So anyway. You do the math on that, right?
Yeah, you hell.
But see, that's the way I grew up. Like, don't commit a felony without making money. Don't commit a felony without. Now guys just commit felonies so they can get fucking high. You know, I don't understand that. But you know, and the prison population had changed. And now that I'm out, I see why. They got all these fucking zombies out here, but these dudes that you see using dope out here now that are zombies, they were going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, dude, what's going on? It was embarrassing being in there because there were no more criminals, no more, you know, bank robbers. They just fucking, yeah.
Dope fiends.
Yeah, so sitting in the hole, you know, and I told my counselor, hey, how come I can't go back to North Block? And he started laughing. He goes, all them dudes told on you, man. They don't want you back out there. All right. So I went to Soledad, and about a year later, I got a 5-year denial at the board for that tobacco. And guys were starting to go home. They had life sentences. So I said, fuck it, man. These dudes ratted on me because I wouldn't give them a fucking cigarette. So, you know, I'm going to turn this 5-year denial into a parole date. And I did. I got valley fever there, which is a fungus, gets in your lungs, eats your body up. And it's called Coxy. But so they sent me over to CMC, which is in San Luis Obispo. I was in a West Yard there, which is dorm living. It was a medical yard because I had this Coxy in my lungs. Then they started a long-term offender program at that prison. I went to that program and got out, you know. But while I was there, I still was like, you know, there's a good chance I might not get out, you know. But I did the program. And, you know, like I remember I had a homeboy there. His dad's in a bike club. He was in a bike club. And he's a little slow, whatever. But this dude's fucking with him. I go fuck that dude up. It kind of had like the shot collar, like you can't beat someone up unless you ask the shot collar. I say, hey, look, bro, you're from San Diego. You're a biker. You got a problem with that dude, go fuck that dude up. If someone has a problem with that afterwards, we'll handle that. My little card dudes from San Diego, I say, look, you guys are from San Diego. Fuck these dudes. Don't do nothing they say without coming checking with me. Because they were using up these kids to do stupid shit, you know? And, yeah, it was level 2 killers, you know? Yeah. But I did that program, man, and I just decided, you know, I'm going to get out, you know? And I spent my whole life in prison doing my own thing and having friends, and all my friends were gone. They were, you know, paroled or dead or in other prisons, and I was kind of by myself as far as like, you know, the guys I like to kick it with. Once in a while, somebody comes to a club or a biker, but for the most part, there was no motorcycle outlaws in there, really, you know. So I did this program. It took me about 2 years, and it was beneficial. You know, they had like 5 or 6 different classes, you know, all the psychotherapy shit. And it was just designed for guys who had life sentences because the courts had told them they had to let us out. So the board created this program. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, if the board creates a program, they want you to go through it or they're not going to let you out. So I did the program, and a couple guys went through it with me. It was pretty cool. Then I got ready to go to board, and this guy goes, oh, man, you're board members. This dude, Randy Grounds. And he goes, man, that's the worst board member they got. That dude's an asshole. So I told my lawyer, hey, man, can we postpone my hearing, get a different? And she goes, oh, no, this guy's great. I'm like, what the fuck you mean he's great? She goes, oh, you know, he's just like you guys. I'm thinking, this dude's a cop. He was a warden at Soledad when I was there. I'm thinking, this guy's a cop. How the fuck is he like me, you know? And she goes, oh, well, you know, he's an ex-Marine. He trained Ultimate Fighter. You know, just go in there and be straight. If your victim isn't a woman, a child, or a cop, you're good, you know? And sure enough, man, easiest board hearing I ever had. Found me suitable for parole. And then after the hearing, he comes out and he talks to me, and he goes, you know, man, I could have denied parole for you over that tobacco. And I go, yeah, I know. And he goes, don't ever take the easy way out again, you know. All right, you know. But he goes, you know, guys like you are our biggest asset. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, you got a story to tell, and I'd like you to tell it. And he goes, if you can ever come back in these prisons later on, I'd like you to come in here and tell these guys your story too, you know. So that's kind of why I do my YouTube channel now, you know. But I paroled at South Central Los Angeles. I lived on 54th in Vermont. And I had about
shit. That's right in the hood there.
Yeah, it is in the hood. We're the only ones in the hood.
Lakeside to the hood. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I live in transitional housing. I live in a private one that's run by the Catholic nun. It's called a Francisco Homes. And I remember asking this dude Warren, I said, "Hey man, what's it like living in the hood?" And he goes, "Just like prison." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "If you want some, they'll give you more than you can handle. If you don't want none, they won't fuck with you." And I'm like, "All right." So I had some money. I had 10 grand. So about 29 days after I was out, I got a Dyna. I'm on the phone, and I reconnected with my wife and stuff. And
I wanted to. I mean, because that's like one of the greatest parts of your story to me. Like,
yeah,
you divorced your wife and told her to go live her life, and when you got out, she reconnected. Man, is that?
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I actually wrote it to her daughter. I said, "Hey man, I'm going to board," and then she's like, and then I wrote her, say, "Hey, I'm getting out," and she didn't open the letter because every time I go to board, it's negative, So she tells my wife, "Hey man, I got a letter from Mitch, woo woo." She goes, "Well, open it," and then next day she calls her and she goes, "Hey, why don't you sit down?" She's like, "What's up?" She goes, "He's getting out." And so that was like a couple weeks before I got out, and mail takes forever in there. She wrote me a letter back that day, and I got it right before I got out. I had her email on there. So when I got out, I sent her an email. I said, "Hey, I ate a pork chop for the first time in 30 years, And yeah. So I'm in the Francisco home the very first night, and I'm talking to her, and she goes, she's like, "You want to go shopping?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I'm in Los Angeles. You're in San Jose." She goes, "So what? What do you want?" And I told her, "Well, I'd like to have this, and that, And then like an hour later, here's Amazon Prime delivering all these groceries. I'm like, "What the fuck?" And all these dudes in the house are like, "Who's this dude? He's getting groceries delivered. He's been here like 2 hours, It was funny. But yeah, so I got a Dyna. I was on the phone though, like Google, used Harley Davidson motorcycles, Harley Davidson, just over and over and over, search. And one of them was the 2016 Street Glide, and like really cheap. And I go, man, I'm on it. I'm like, I want this bike, I don't really like baggers with a big fairing and shit, but I want it. I can strip it down, whatever. And so I tell her, "Hey man, I'm having trouble connecting with these people. I want this bike, And so she goes, "All right." So we finally get a number and we call it, and it's this guy with a Nigerian accent.
Oh.
And she's like, "Hey, you said this motorcycle's an eBay storage facility in North Dakota and blah, blah, blah." And she goes, "They don't have a storage facility. It's in, why do you want eBay gift card for payment?" And I'm not hip to none of this shit.
Oh my God. Yes. Yeah.
So she's like, "Hey, babe, that's a scam."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I finally found this Russian dude in San Fernando
Valley. If it's too good to be true, that's
yeah. But I found a guy in San Fernando Valley, this Russian dude. He would get salvage title bikes and fix them up. So I got a 04 Dyna lowrider for $37.50. And I rode that thing around town. I got sideswiped once. Fucked me up. She was coming down to see me. We'd stay at Airbnb for a couple of days, and I got sideswiped right before she came down there. And she's like, "Motherfucker." Her first husband died on a motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
So she's like, "Dude," she goes, "I'm not bitching, but if anything happens to you on that motorcycle, motherfucker, I'm telling you, I'm like, "I know, So yeah, I lived in the hood for about 7 months. And then because we got divorced, where technically we weren't family. So you can transfer your parole to go to a family member's house or a job. So while I'm in the hood, like when I got sideswiped there though, there's a lot of black dudes riding bikes in that neighborhood, And so I had my bike on a flatbed, and I went into a store there off of Vermont to get some money at the ATM, to pay the dude, the truck driver, I come back out and get in the truck, and he goes, "Hey man, some black dudes come by on motorcycles. They seen your bike." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh man, they saw your bike." I'm like, "Man, what's up with dude? What's up with his bike? Is he okay? What happened?" He goes, "They were concerned about you." They said they seen you in the neighborhood, and so them dudes that ride bikes in that neighborhood, they knew I was there. I didn't know they were watching me, but they recognized, they were. That's biker shit, right?
Biker too, right? Biker
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then so after that, my boss, I worked at a job readiness program. He's an old black dude, and he goes, man, go down and see Twin Mac, And I'm like, who the fuck's Twin Mac? And it's this youngster that had a bike shop over off Crenshaw, and straight hood, It's a black guy, black motorcycle club's bike shop, So I go in there, and my trees were fucked up. My triple tree was fucked up. My handlebars were bent, and they were like, wow, and because I didn't know where any other motorcycle shops were, and I don't have no tools. I'm living in transitional housing, so I go, hey man, Dale sent me over here, and he's like, all right, and he told me, he goes, hey man, that dude raised me in the hood, and he goes, for him to send you over here means a lot to me. So I go, cool, So they fixed my bike. That was pretty bitching, And then I got my parole transferred up to Placerville, And I rode my bike. That was the first long ride I took. I packed my backpack up with like 50 pounds, got on my bike and split, Placerville. It's about a 500-mile ride, I think. And my wife's friend met me at Kettleman City and rode with me up to Placerville. But I remember riding up, I'm leaving LA. It was kind of hot, and I had a leather jacket, and I had it unzipped about halfway. I'm starting to go up, up over the grapevine.
Oh, yeah, you're going to the grapevine. It's going to get freezing cold on your ass.
Cold. I had been, I was kind of uncomfortable. I was cold. I didn't want to try to zip it up. Then I'm like, fuck. And then it was like windy. I'm like leaning, I'm like, fuck. And I see 4,400 feet, high wind advisory. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like riding sideways,
That's the grapevine. You never know what the hell is going to be up there, man.
I never been so happy to see Bakersfield come.
You come down, it gets hot again. I almost ran off the road up there. One day I was looking at those windmills, and I was just looking at the damn windmill, and just almost ran right off the damn highway.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, so we lived in Placerville for a few years, about almost 5 years, and I got parole. My parole officer, the first time I met him, he's a real asshole, and then the second time I met him, he seen I was working, and we had a little visit, and he goes, I'm going to put you on, instead of once a month, I'm going to see you once every 2 months, and I'm going to start building a case to get you off parole. I was like, wow. Then I would see him like every 6 months, or whatever. So I got a parole after 3 years, and I was kind of shocked at society the way it is, all this bullshit, and when I say, bikers are like the last bastion of fucking Americana, dude. I had a job in Sacramento cleaning out homeless camps. We would pick up, it's a forensic cleaning company, Forensic Clean. And we'd get like 5,000 needles a month off the street. We get 8 to 10 tons of trash every day. It was bad, One day we hit the spot on the American River. We got 25 tons of trash in one day, cleaning out this place they call the Island. And there, we didn't evict them. We just clean the camps out, and we set up a thing. All their trash goes in one spot, and we go get it. But other times, like the cops would evict people, because they're on the sidewalks and shit, and they're in your neighborhood, and they're pissing in your lawn and, stealing your shit. And I was off parole, and we're cleaning out this camp, and it's on Alhambra and X in Sacramento, and it's pretty bad. There's a lot of protesters there, and they're called Black Zebra Productions. They call themselves journalists. They're on Facebook. So if you go to their site, January 7th, you can see it. But so they're like calling us names and fucking with us. But one dude started threatening us, And I looked, and he's like, I'm going to smash you. over, and he's animated, and he's a big dude, younger. Then he goes from I'm gonna smash you to I'm gonna fuck you up to I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill your fucking ass. And when he said that, kind of triggered me. So I took my work knife out and flicked it open. I told him, come on, These are like Antifa fuckers, And dude peed on himself. I went back to work, and it was on the news that night and the next night. It was in the newspaper. They had a city council meeting about it twice. But what kind of surprised me was the Sacramento PD they kind of whitewashed it. And then they sent a message to me through one of my coworkers. They tell Mitch we love him, because them dudes fuck with the cops, and they just, I don't know. So that kind of shit really, all the stuff that I saw there on that job kind of made me realize why prison got so fucked up,
Yeah.
Man, it's just society's just fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, we're seeing that in bike clubs too, man. We saw it in the military, the kind of people we were getting in. And that wound up costing you your job.
Yeah, it cost me my job. I was making $35 an hour, cost me my job. So, but that job was a motherfucker. We were cleaning up like the rivers. We were going down like 35-foot embankments, dragging shit up with drag bags.
And you're 66 years old.
I'm 61 now. It's like 60, 59, 60. So I would go home and strip down and lay on the floor in the living room for like a half hour and then get up and shower. That's how fucking worn out I was after that. So my lady goes, hey man, fuck that job.
I don't know how the hell you did that. I'm 59. I don't know. Climbing down a 35-foot ravine, picking up shit, going back up. I don't know how you did it, man.
And $35 an hour, man. I got, I had motorcycle parts to buy, and but so I got off parole. The wife and I got remarried in court, and then we go to an Orthodox church, and then we got remarried in the church, and it's pretty cool. We live in the mountains. Mountains started getting fucked up. People with tech money started moving in from the Bay Area, so we got some friends out in Arizona, and we came to see him, and my old lady was just like, hey, fuck it, let's move to Arizona. I go, you serious? Because I like it out here, She goes, yeah. So she applied for a job out here. She got it, and we got a house. So here we are.
Are you out in the boonies, or are you out in the?
We are in that unincorporated area.
Okay. Yeah.
The main road that goes through to the Grand Canyon is paved, but all the other roads that are not, they're dirt.
Yeah. So, and you get snow and all that through there, and you
a little bit,
Yeah.
Up in Kingman they get more, but before I do know guys in bike clubs and all that shit, but I got a group of guys I started riding with. I used to go, I do shirts and artwork and all that stuff. So I would go to the motorcycle swap meet in Sacramento and meet guys, And then in Placerville, there's a guy who rides. His name's Bowtie Barber. And he's in a club now. He's got a barber shop up there. And he goes, hey, bro, we're going to Arizona. This is like a week after I got a parole. And I go, all right. And he goes, it's going to be an epic ride. I go, all right. He goes, you want to go? I go, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
My old lady goes, you better go or you're going to regret it. So, and this is in February 28th every year. So Bowtie goes, hey, man, you got to get a Carhartt one piece, insulated one piece. I go, I got a bomber jacket. He goes, you're going to freeze to death. I go, I got a bomber jacket, bro. I got a Dyna. It's got a T-Sport fairing. No, that's it. I got my shit tied up in a Mexican blanket, strapped to a sissy bar, a homemade sissy bar. They got baggers. All of them got street glides. And we still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. And so he goes, come downtown. I'm going to buy that one. So he bought me a one-piece Carhartt insulated thing. I get gloves and we got snowmobile mittens on, on our handlebars. And so we take off, man. We rode from Sacramento. we got the Visalia. One of my friends crashed at 100 miles an hour on the 99. So that we took care of that. He's all right, but he didn't make the rest of the ride. So we made it to Prim the first day, and and then we rode to the Grand Canyon Inn the next day. And I remember we got into the Grand Canyon Inn about 9 o'clock at night. We're going 90 miles an hour. It was 25 degrees, And I told my friend Bowtie, "How you feeling?" He goes, "Nice and toasty." Not one thing saved my ass. But yeah, we went to Four Corners, New Mexico, Colorado, went through Zion National Park in Utah, back through Vegas. We did 3,400 miles that ride, And
yeah, that's nice, man. That's we're looking at some of your pictures here. These are some of your artwork.
Oh yeah, that's Chief Blackberries at Sioux, and that's Two Moons. He was a Cheyenne chief. Yeah. So them guys were like, "Hey, dude, you're a beast, dude." I was riding like sideways. I had a stock seat that sucked. I had forward controls, and I ended up putting floorboards on that dyno with a Saddleman seat. And then when I turned 60, my wife goes, "You really like those Indians. I think you should get a new motorcycle for your birthday." And so since the price of houses were going up in Placerville, I lost my job. I've been saving some money. So I've used that for down payment. She goes, "I want you to have a new motorcycle for your birthday." So I sold my Dyna, got the rest of the money, made the down payment, and I got a 2022 Chief.
Yeah, you went with they're gonna hate me for this, but you finally did. You did the right thing.
Yeah. So last February, I rode that ride on the Chief. We went down the coast into Yuma and around that way.
How you liking that Chief?
I love it. I just love it. I fabricated new fenders for it and started painting it. I got to paint the tank and I put new bars on it, and I love it. It's the best bike I ever ridden in my life.
Oh yes, sir.
My board had an 88-inch motor. This thing has a 116-inch motor. So.
Oh yeah, you can get on a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, listen, it's been an amazing hour with you. I gotta tell you something. When I heard you on that video, it really hurt my feelings. Nothing hurts Hollywood's feelings. It hurt my feelings. Hollywood's a good friend of mine, and a lot of people might not be able to say that. He's got a hell of a lot of enemies, but I like him. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how much you two have in common. You are a tattoo artist. He was a tattoo artist. I think he's just getting back in it. You went to jail for not opening your mouth for 38 years. Yeah. His son just caught a life sentence for not opening his mouth. I think that you guys could even be buddies in a different kind of environment, or if you had met a different kind of way. I wanted to know who you were. I was a bit mad at you, and it's because I do biker news too, and I've had those things said about me. A lot of stuff. Sometimes when you say stuff, and you're a creator, you got a good following, and people love creators. You got people that love you. Believe it or not, it's crazy how they love you, and they don't know you. They just know the YouTube you, and what you try to do is you try to become worthy of their love, because a lot of times, you might not be. Like a lot of times I'm not. I try to live up to what these folks expect from me every day. But also, negative videos can also bring out weirdos and zealots.
Yeah.
A guy do a video like that about me, and it actually brought a hit squad here to Atlanta to hurt me. And
well, I can say the same guys I know that were kind of complaining about, dude, they they actually told me, yeah, hey, that dude, that bike, they told me about your bike club. Hey, that dude's kind of cool, you know. And like I mentioned, you know, they told me a little bit about the history of the bike club you're in and how it started, and you know, the one motorcycle thing and all that. You know, guys I know kind of like your style, you know. So I mean, and you know, like I did a video about a guy who dropped out of a prison gang, became a rat, and all that. So that's got more views on my channel than anything. And so, you know, one thing that guy said was, you know, you can't. There's no glory in being in prison. You can't glorify. I don't glorify prison. I am a prison channel, but I talk about all kinds of stuff. Like I met Tucker Carlson at the funeral up in Stockton.
You went to Sonny Barger's funeral. That's really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, but
what was that like, man? What was that like? Just in a couple of words.
Hang out with some guys, and you know, and yeah, there's some guys in Richmond that are friends of mine. I go to their wheelie. They have an event every year. I go there, and they're fucking out of sight dudes. You know, and they were there, but meeting Tucker Carlson was pretty cool. But they had bike clubs. The East Bay Dragons came rolling in, you know, and then they have another club. They got a group of Sikhs that ride, you know.
Yes, yes.
They don't have to wear helmets because they don't want to take they don't take their turban off, so they don't have to wear helmets. That's pretty bitching. But there was a lot of people there, you know, and that's a prime example of what I'm saying, man. That was, and there were bike clubs from all over there. There were people from all over there. I met some guys that are chosen few guys that watch my channel. I met some guys that are in clubs out here that watch my channel. I'm like, dude, these guys from bike clubs are watching my channel. It's pretty bitching. But
yeah.
You know, I try to let people know, especially younger guys, like, you know, I went to prison basically because I was a fucked up kid with a lot of problems and I didn't know how to deal with them. Right? You know, violence was my answer. And so I try to let youngsters know that they don't have to go down that route. If there's somebody dragging them down that route, they can get away from that. It's not that hard. It's a lot easier than your mind will convince you that it is, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So part of why I do my channel, and yeah, I'm grateful to be free, and you know, like the guys I ride with out of Sacramento, one of them used to be in a club out of Sacramento. You know, prison, all that shit. He kind of backed away from it, but he's still in good standing with them, and they're all NA guys, you know, and they've all been to prison. There's like 6 or 7 of us, and so. We had shirts last year. This friend of ours print shirts that says, had a gorilla ride. It says, not a club, you know. But we're not a club, but we do ride and look out for each other the same way guys in clubs do. You know, biker life is this shit, man. And it gets a lot of bad rap. But, you know, a lot of my motorcycle paintings, you know, I used to sit in prison and paint motorcycle paintings because that's the life I remembered and I loved, and that was my connection to it, you know. But I'm just glad to be here.
Well, listen, man.
My channel keeps me accountable. My subscribers, guys,
yes, they will
keep me accountable because I don't preach, but I mean I put a message out there like, you know, this is not good and this is good and whatever, and they hold me accountable. You know, I'm accountable to them. So
yes, they will. Well, listen, man, we got to get out of here. We're about 13 minutes over our show. I have enjoyed talking with you, man. I wanted to know who you were, and you know, I find you to be compelling, and I find you to be true in terms of real. I find you to be real, and we don't, you know, get a lot of real dudes, especially new cats on TikTok. Don't tend to be very real at all.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I really,
man, yeah, we got to chat again sometime, you know, and you have my number, you know, you got my personal number. So, you know, hit me anytime, man. I just thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
I'm going to get a pipe on that bike, and then I'm going to ride the shit out of it. I'm going to have Hangtown Customs make me a pipe.
So your Hard Intentions, that's who you are on your YouTube channel?
That's my YouTube channel. I got a website by the same name. Yeah, that's us.
And you do shirts and paintings and things like that?
All that kind of shit, yeah. My wife is the one that, I just make the video. She does all the, one for her, it wouldn't be happening, you know?
We all got to have that angel in our life, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, appreciate you, man. What days are you on? Hard Intentions. What days are you on?
Go live here at in about an hour and a half.
Okay.
But I do videos. You know, I got like 400 some videos. But I go live Wednesday nights, sometimes Saturdays. Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again for being on the show, everybody. Mitch Smiley from Hard Intentions, man. Have a great night, man.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you, man. Thanks a lot.
We get over that COVID shit. Take care. Thanks,
man. Well, guys, that was Mitch Smiley from Hard Intentions. You know, it's important for me to get both sides of the story. That's what we try to do. And when I first saw his video, I was like, you know, it everybody has their opinion, and it's, you know, it's cool. I mean, you can disagree, you can agree to disagree, but I wanted to know who he was, and you know, I got a chance to talk to him on the phone, and it was a real good conversation. A down to earth guy, hard working dude, man, out there picking up trash and stuff at 60 years old, 59, 60, 61 years old. Jesus. Hard working person. He's got out and is trying to make the best of his life after being given a second chance. So in any event, interesting to go to jail for being in something and not actually being the one to deliver the death blow. Isn't that how it happens out there? Gosh. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could have made it. 38 years. Lord have mercy. Anyway, glad you guys joined on a weeknight. I appreciate you guys right before Christmas. Man, thanks for tuning in. Check out my new YouTube channel, MC Protocol 101 and Think Tactical. And check us out on, you can get this podcast at the Dragon's Lair, Lair, Motorcycle Chaos, the Dragon's Lair Motorcycle Chaos. You can go get this podcast and play it while you're in the car or whatever. Man, it was a cool show. It was good to talk. Some of you guys were rude. I hope the moderators got at you, but for the most part, I want to tell you, my viewers, I'm so proud of you guys for having an open ear, listening to the man, and giving him his opportunity to speak. I'm just so disappointed that when I was interviewing Twitch, I didn't give him the same opportunity, and I hope to never make that mistake again, because he deserved to be heard, to say his message, whether we liked it or not. And that's the way it's supposed to be. No cancel culture of any kind should be accepted, because everybody has an opinion. If you don't want to hear it, you just tune it off, man. You just turn it off. Listen, it's important that we try to treat people like individual pieces of solid gold. Always remember that. When we do the news, we're not always happy with the stories that we tell, but we try. I know Hollywood tries, and I try to give the biker angle in as best we can, and clean up the narrative so that it looks good on us, because we're all bikers, and all of us that wear these colors are held accountable, because nobody knows what you are. They don't know 1%ers from outlaws, from 99%ers to riding clubs to motorcycles, support operations in them. They don't know that difference. They just see a bunch of raggedy looking dudes on bikes and leather, and they think that the same thing about us all. So we all uphold one another. So, man, great to have you guys. I will be over in the Discord channel on video for a little bit. So you guys might want to come over and talk to me over there, ask me some questions or whatever. So join me in the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description box. Come over to the Discord channel and you can talk to me one-on-one. I'm Black Dragon. That's my 2 cents and Mitch's 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in with me this night. And man, this is pretty close to Christmas Eve. It's the Christmas spirit, and it's going to be a cold mofo. So bring your animals inside. Be good to your animals. Take care of yourself. It's going to be a wind chill of God knows minus whatever, to where you can get exposure in less than 10 minutes. So be careful out there. Don't take any chances so that you'll be alive. You know what I mean? Moji, thank you for that super sticker. I'm Black Dragon. Thanks for tuning in. And get skinny. Hey, subscribers. Whenever you are in Macon, Georgia, you have to get over to my Motorcycle Club Brothers Cigar Lounge. Haley's Cigar Lounge on Ingleside Avenue has a night or several nights just right for you. Monday night football kicks off the week. Wednesday is whiskey night. Thursday, ladies night. Saturdays are make your night. And wrapping up the weekend, it's Sunday football. Haley's is closed on Tuesdays. Enjoy the friendly atmosphere at Haley's. Hang out at the bar or outside on the patio. They can also host your small events. Haley's Cigar Lounge, 2308 Ingleside Avenue in Macon, Georgia. Be sure to tell them Black Dragon sent you.
Get Black Dragon's first book, The Prospect's Bible, to learn how to join a motorcycle club. It has been an Amazon #1 bestseller for the past 7 years and is required reading for over 3,000 motorcycle clubs worldwide. This book is a must-have for new people venturing into the motorcycle club set. It will teach you how to prepare yourself for service to the motorcycle club nation and show you how to qualify a motorcycle club to be worthy of your service. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and for order at your local bookstore. Get your autographed copy at blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club prospect you can be. Get the book.
Prepare yourself to take the helm as president of your mighty motorcycle club by delving into the pages of Black Dragon's newest book, The President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership. There you will learn to advance your skills in applying the 14 scientific principles of leadership similar to those taught to officers in the United States Naval Service. Available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Get yours today on Amazon, Kindle, or order it at your local bookstore. Order your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club president you can be. Get the book.